Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Hope you're doing well today. In today's video we're going to be talking about the 10 most underrated abilities and skills in Albion Online so far. These are based more towards a sort of 5v5 scenario rather than a ganking situation or anything like that. Definitely PvP oriented, definitely 5v5 oriented, but still I think all of these abilities have something that they could bring to the table that really offers a different playstyle that no one really seems to be picking up on at the moment, or maybe one or two people are, but not many people are really capitalising on. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to talk about the Life Curse staff. So Life Curse staff is actually one I've tried personally myself. I tried it really early into release because I got it early and I was going to play Curse Skull and wanted to level the artifact. Obviously it is an easy artifact to get. They're all over the place, they sell for really cheap. But let's just talk about what it does. So you put the blades on someone. They can be purged off, they can be silenced off, that sort of thing. Or sorry, they can be purged off only, but still, that's heavy mace can purge them off, definitely 100%. But 71 damage, and this is on flat T4, 71 damage, as well as a 5% attack power reduction, stacking up to 10 times. That's a 50% attack power damage decrease on any melee DPS, as well as just doing a lot of damage. That 71 per second is actually almost double your dot. Like, that's crazy. It's like having another 2 stacks of your dot. It's a great zoning tool. You can put this on your healers, you can put this on your frontliners, your hammers, because it doesn't matter about their damage. They can be a tank for all it matters. You can still put this on there. They're going to be able to run around, do a ridiculous amount of damage while you're safe in the back. Again, you can also use it as a peel, put it on your healer. They're not going to be able to focus melee your healer, because they're just going to do no damage and take a lot of damage in return. Definitely underrated. Give this a go. It's also one-handed, which means you can either use the shield, use the Mistcaller. You can do a lot with this weapon. People really underestimate this in Feeble Blades. Moving on to our second weapon, then, it is the Arcane Occult staff with the Time Corridor. So Frost is really, really strong right now. Obviously slows don't diminish at this point in time. Icicle's really strong. One-handed Frost is really strong. All this sort of stuff, just really, really good. So this one's more oriented towards Hellgates. Having that ability to be able to catch up on someone or run back on someone, especially with the presence of nature right now. If you're fighting a nature healer, you want to be able to get on them very quickly and not allow them to kite. Time Corridor allows you to do that. You put it in their direction, you just run at them. If you're playing a nature healer and you want to be able to kite, you can put it backwards. Give yourself the ability to kite back at speed. And they're not going to be able to follow you that easy. It also can be used as a bit of a zoning tool if you cast it sort of across the way, so you block the way off. They either have to walk through it at a slow pace, taking a little bit of damage, or they're going to have to just back off. And that's still, it can be used as a zoning tool. I think it gives Arcana just a little bit different of a full support playstyle. Obviously, it is still a support thing, but you can kind of make plays with it. I think this is really cool, and again, very, very underrated. They really could have a place in 5v5 Hellgates. Moving on then is the Royal Cowl Perpetual Energy. So, just to give you an idea of why I think this could be strong, I actually tested this a little bit today. First of all, I'm going to talk about the Druid Cowl. Druid Cowl at the moment is something that is amazing. It's so, so strong. Lasts for 5 seconds, 12 energy per second. It can save you up to 60 energy if I haven't butchered that math, which I already know I have. 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. No, I was right. That's almost as embarrassing. But yeah, so 60 energy over the 5 seconds. If you can stay in it for that 5 seconds, that in itself is something that's difficult because people use zoning stuff on the Druid Cowls to stop you being able to stand in it. So typically you might get 1 to 2, maybe 3 stacks out of it. The Royal Cowl offers a lot more, but for one person only. The spell will reduce your energy cost for all spells to 0 for 10 seconds. This means a healer can just spam heal someone. A fire staff can burn all of his mana for 10 seconds, and it only has a 30-second cooldown, meaning that you only actually have a 20-second period where this isn't up. You really can play around this, and again, it's so easy to do. It's just a normal thing as well as a couple of royal sigils. I genuinely think this is very, very strong, especially sort of up to T6 before them sigils become super, super hard to get hold of at the higher tiers. I genuinely think being able to burn all your mana, if you fight around these little burst windows that you have with perpetual energy, you could do an absolute truckload. Next we have Druid Sandals Frostwalk. So Frostwalk is something we see every now and again. However, for tanks, for frontliners, your feet freeze the ground beneath them. For the next 5 seconds, your move speed will increase by 30%, and you will leave a trail of frozen ground behind when moving. If the enemy touches it, he's slowed by 80%. That is just insane. If you use this on an icicle staff, they effectively become rooted. Yes, they become rooted if they hit it. It's just ridiculous. 40-second cooldown, which is quite long for sprints, typically a 30-second cooldown. The move speed isn't obviously great, but if you can use this right as a tank, you can dive in, slow everyone with it, and you're going to do absolute work with it. Typically tanks use like night boots or something like that. It's great to have the shield, but the utility to stop the melee being able to get to people is also very good as well, even to a point that you can peel for a healer with this by just running on top of him with the Frostwalk. Moving on then, we have the Nature Staff. Now, as you can see, I've actually got some levels into Nature Staff because I was trying this myself as a recommendation by Shiggity. Shout out to him, the GM of Tetra. Circle of Life. Heals up to 5 allies in an 11-meter radius around the caster. The healing strength depends on the rejuvenation stacks on each ally. Consumes all charges on the healed allies. So, for a 30 energy cost, you could potentially heal 288 hit points on up to 5 targets. So that's a 1500 heal at T4 flat on a 15-second cooldown. That is an incredible amount of healing. When you start looking at the later tiers, you then have like Protection of Nature, increases healing received by 50%. All of a sudden, you're healing people for 318. You're healing them with a huge amount of, obviously, heals as well, but you then heal for 318, double it, well, sorry, not double it, add another 50%, that's 450 on one person, and then 318 to everyone else if you're using your HOTS. That's an incredible amount of healing on a 15-second cooldown. I really just can't get over this. This weapon is so strong, the Circle of Life is so strong. People really need to sort of stop underestimating this weapon. The amount of healing throughput it can actually do while keeping a good amount of mana is just insane. Moving on then to the Assassin Hood Meditation. So I tried this today actually, running one-handed curse with meditation. I was able to get, I was effectively doing Vile Curse, Bomb, Vile Curse, Armor Pierce, Vile Curse, Vile Curse, which gave me my 4 stacks. Obviously allowed the bomb to go off. As soon as I get my 4 stacks, start using meditation, and by the time the first bomb explodes, the second bomb's being applied, start stacking the dots up, and I was able to get 2 bombs off in a region of about 8 seconds. And then you had the double armor pierce. Obviously Vile Thorns was back up there. It helps you defensive if you popped an early defensive. You can just do so much with this. Like, being able to make that play with an important ability is crazy. The only change I would love to see on this, and I think if I did we would see a lot more of it, is don't make it a channel, just make it a buff. It lasts for 2 seconds and shortens your cooldowns by up to 10 seconds. Similar to Refreshing Sprint. It's stronger but doesn't have the move speed increase. I would like that idea on this helmet, and I think we'd see a lot more play out of it. Moving on then, we have the Stalker's Helmet, Mortal Agony. Your damage is increased by 15% for 4 seconds. Enemies in the 6-meter radius around you whose health is below 50% health will be mortally afraid of you. Their resistances are reduced by 15% for 4 seconds, and they will be revealed from invisibility. So we saw Mohicans used to run this with the one-handed broadsword, mainly because he was able to pop it as they got below 50%, have them 3 stacks up, and hit them with an E from hell, and just hit them so hard. And yeah, I was, again, it's another one that I've tried with Bomb. I've been trying things all day with one-handed curse. I want to really make that weapon work at the moment. I was basically getting a Bomb 4 stacked and then popping this just before it was about to go off and hitting people really hard. If I actually managed to get up to people and use this on them just as the bomb's about to go off. Bear in mind, it actually has the same cooldown-ish on the bomb. Oh, sorry, as the bomb. In fact, it does have the same cooldown as the bomb. You can get a 15% increase on every single bomb. That is insane just by wearing this. Obviously, it does mean you don't have the defensive, but I think you can use this for things like Clarent Blade. If you get a group that's below 50% health and hit them with that and then Clarent Mighty Swing, you're going to drop a team. Like, you can do so much work with this. Moving on then, we have the Stalker's Shoes with Raging Blink. Now, I used to play this and no one else seems to have done it, and I don't know why. With Clarent Blade. Clarent Blade gets 3 stacks on the front liners, uses this to teleport into the back line and hit everyone for that massive mighty swing, gets them really caught off guard. People can't really predict it, expect it, because ultimately it's a teleport, it's instant. And then obviously getting the 15% on top is huge. 20-second cooldown, which means it's pretty much back up for every mighty swing. And yeah, I think melees could do a lot of work with this. Like a Carrion Caller. If a Carrion Caller teleported in, heavy smash someone into a Morgana Raven, you could do a lot of work with that. I think it's underrated. Obviously, I know Assassin Boots are so strong right now, but I mean, I still think this has a place, truthfully. Incubus Mace is our next one. The Shrinking Curse. Very, very underrated weapon. But let me just talk you through what it does. Unleash a heavy attack on the ground, hitting all enemies in a cone in front of you. This deals 293 damage and shrinks the enemies for 8 seconds, while shrunk the enemies enemy's damage and heal power is reduced by 50%, which means if you do this on a nature staff, all of his hots, all of his big heals, everything that he uses is 50% weaker. That is crazy. You can use this on a healer, like put it over the top of a healer, and you're gonna like shrink all of the melee DPS that are focusing him, or put it onto a backliner. You can use this to peel so much, and I think this has to be one of the best peel abilities, as well as engaging abilities as well. If you get a snare charge into the Shrinking Curse onto an entire enemy team, then just not going to be able to put out the damage or the healing to be able to compete with you right there. And moving on to our final one is the Knight's Helmet with displacement. Oh, that's the wrong one. With displacement immunity, increases crowd control resistance by 55 and makes targets immune to any displacement effects like pulls, knockbacks, or fears for 10 seconds. This spell affects you and up to 5 allies in close proximity. So if you see a spear run up looking for a fling glaive, you can potentially use this. Takes a lot of skill to do. It's probably one of the highest skill capabilities to get at the right time. You can use this to push in on a holy staff using Great Holy Explosions, a weapon that we've seen come back into the meta really strong. Obviously, glaive being such a popular thing, you can use that. Wind walls you can walk through, which means you don't need the assassin shoes. I think this on tanks is just crazy strong. Wouldn't recommend it on DPS, but potentially it's still an option. Just a super strong ability. So guys, that is my 10 most underrated abilities in Albion Online currently. If you disagree, agree, if you've got any more to add to this list, please leave them in the comments below. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye, guys.